Okay, so what I see here, with that change in the background, totally different, and you were able to create something yourself, and so that always helps enhance the overall design. Now, with that said, I'm always looking for things to improve upon, right? So that way you keep moving, from week to week, you keep adding to certain things. I'm not a big fan because of the composite. I'm not a big fan of the styling we're using for the text up here. Um, I don't know. Maybe something neon. Maybe a neon look. There are tutorials in Photoshop that might work. Um, but I do think though, if you do anything, I think Fred needs to be larger. Okay, so it stands out. And we might go with flipping food. We might not have the same styling up here for that purpose. You might just go in and use certain colors instead. So I don't know if we need to have that same effect on flipping food. Definitely on Fred, but I would make it a little bit larger on that. Now, with the character, we can now add a cast shadow because you have the floor. You can also create like a spotlight looking on him as well. And with the character itself, we can just go in. I'll select that and I'll just add a drop shadow. Well, looks like there's some extra elements around it. I did not see little pixels with the drop shadow. But here, what you do is you can control the distance and the spread and size, to make it softer and so forth. Now, what I do is then I go up to layer. I go to layer style. I create layers. And what that does is puts the drop shadow on its own layer. So I click on that drop shadow. I come up to edit transform and I click on the distort option, and then I can bring this down to create a cast shadow and move it up. So with that, now it's a little, I might want to make this a little more blurry, so I'll go up to filter, blur, Gaussian blur. Probably change the opacity down a little bit. So again, just little things like that. Now if you want to do something like a spotlight coming down on it, you can do that as well.